Imagine being surrounded by 100+ children with bowls in the air begging for food. This was my reality, my second day in the Philippines. See, I spent 3 months there last semester on a mission trip, and one of the things that hit me the hardest and that I remember the most was the level of poverty the children and the adults faced there. According to the National Statistical Coordination Board of the Philippines, the poverty incidence for 2012 was 27.9%. Today we're going to talk about problems adults face with poverty, problems children face with poverty, and what's being done about it. See, poverty is a major problem in the Philippines, but it's a problem with a solution. In the U.S., there are many job opportunities and government-funded organizations to help Americans who do not have jobs get food and basic necessities. This is not so in the Philippines. According to the Philippine Statistics Authority for the full year of 2012, a family needed around 5,513 pesos, or $125 as a monthly income to buy their minimum basic food needs, and around 7,890 pesos, or $179 as a monthly income for their basic food and non-food needs. But according to census.gov.ph, the average income of impoverished families is only 6,000 pesos, which is about $136. So already you're seeing the discrepancy between how much money is needed and how much money is made by a fourth of the families in the Philippines. A fourth. That means 1 in every 4 kids is living in an impoverished home, not having enough food to eat, not having, a warm place to sleep. This is because many adults have no job and must rummage through garbage to find plastic or metal just to help provide for their family. I saw an extreme example of this in a squatter's village called Lower Mangahan. I met this man who had no arms, 2 wives. 2 different huts is what they lived in. It was more like a tent, something I could never imagine living in. The first wife had lost a baby, miscarried, and the baby was buried at the foot of the first house. The second wife was across the way in another tent, getting ready to deliver a baby in a tent. This man with no arms would go out every day. He had arms maybe to here. He would go out every day looking for metal and garbage, looking for plastic in the garbage, trying to find anything that he could trade for money for his family. And since it's so hard for parents to make ends meet like this, their children often suffer the consequences. And this brings me back to my second day in the Philippines, in another squatter's village called Tent City. It was a familiar sight everywhere we went, where kids would just be hungry and asking for food or asking for someone to play with. Just an extreme sadness, extreme hunger. And you would see older children, 10 or 12, raising the younger children. You'd see a 10-year-old carrying a baby because either their father was gone out working, or their mother was sick, or their parents just didn't care and were gone. And it was a sight you saw every day. So let's talk about what's being done about this. I was there in the Philippines to see stuff like that. I was there to help break the cycle of poverty. I worked with an organization called Kids International Ministries. Kids International Ministries, or KIM for short. They do 2 feedings a day. So we would take food to different communities around Manila. We would take 2 buckets of food and feed however many kids we could with that, and play with them and do whatever just to help make them feel happy and help the parents a little bit however we could. They have an orphanage with about 40 kids. They just take kids that are in bad situations and put them in the orphanage whenever they can. And they have a girls' home with 40 girls, ranging from ages 8 to 18 that have been sexually abused. We take the girls in and we show them that they can trust again. We get them in school, we get them educated. And the goal of all these things, in the words of KIM's director Jeff Long, is to break the cycle of poverty. If we can get the kids at a young age consistently, we can begin to change their culture. We can begin to show the children that they can be something else, that they don't have to go through this poverty every day, that they can learn and they can get jobs and they can go to college and they can break the cycle. And though poverty is still at the forefront of problems for Filipinos, organizations like KIM are changing that. In conclusion, I want to tell you a short story about a pastor that I met. He told me, "Aaron, never believe that your short 3 months here is for nothing. To you it's just a drop in a huge bucket, but to those people here, it's a whole flood of God's provision and grace."